Welcome back to the Daily Move. This is part of the 4-week challenge. This is week 3, day 1. You're going to need a few things for today's workout, including a foam roller, something like a chair. I use a cooler. And then you're also going to need something so that you can duck under. So I use a bar. You can put a hockey stick over top of 2 chairs, just something that gives you a target to have to slide under. So we're going to start here with a foam roll. So I'm starting here on my glute. And then I'm just switching sides here to get the other glute. And now we're starting to go down the leg into the hamstring. Switching legs here. So next we're going to go on to our side. We're going to get into that quad muscle. And just hitting different aspects. So starting on that lateral side, and then as you start letting your chest fall towards the ground, you're going to get more on top. And then eventually we'll turn so that you get the inside of the quad and then also into the adductors. Of course, spending time in any area that you feel needs a little bit more attention. And now we're going to switch sides, starting on that adductor and inner quad to start with. And then we'll slowly make our way back to the top of it and then off to the side. So next what we're going to do is just lay on our stomachs and have the foam roller on our stomach and just breathe into it. Okay, so we're gonna put that foam roller aside. Now I'm gonna grab something cushiony underneath the knee. That's totally optional. And we're gonna start here with one of my favorite stretches, the hip flexor stretch. So you're gonna tuck that pelvis under, and then you're gonna start leaning your body forward, feeling a nice stretch into that hip flexor on the right side, so the knee that's down on the floor. Next, we're gonna transition into a hamstring stretch here. So that front leg is nice and straight, and I'm just hinging forward, feeling a stretch in the back of my leg. Next, I'm gonna grab onto my shoelace, and as I lean forward, you're gonna feel a quad stretch here. We're gonna go off to the side here, and we're gonna get into the adductor. So we were stretching the leg where my knee's on that foam pad. That's the leg that we're stretching out. All right, we're gonna run through the same drill on the opposite side, starting with that hip flexor stretch. Then going into the hamstring stretch. Back into that quad stretch. And then turning sideways to get into that adductor. And we're going to go through that series twice. So again, doing that hip flexor stretch again. You may notice the second time through you have a little bit more range than before. Next, we're going to pull back into that hamstring stretch, hinging over that straight leg. Grabbing the shoelace to go into the quad stretch now. And then lastly, going into that adductor stretch. Switching sides, starting with that hip flexor stretch. Tuck that pelvis under and start leaning forward. Pulling back into that hamstring stretch now. And then grabbing onto your shoelaces to get into that quad. And then finishing off with that adductor stretch. Okay, we're gonna get into that adductor a little bit more now. So I just grabbed two things to put padding underneath my knees, and then we're gonna sit back into frog position. So your toes are facing out, and I'm taking my time moving in and out of this position. Don't ever force anything. Breathe through the tension and allow it to melt. Now, this is completely optional. As you lean forward, you can lift up that leg, working that hip internal rotation, or you can just continue to breathe into frog. I find by doing this hip internal rotation, I find that I just start getting a little bit more range every time. But you guys are the expert of your own body, so just listen to it. Okay, next you're gonna bend one leg and then you're gonna lean towards the straight leg. And then you're gonna take your arm up towards the ceiling and then back down towards that foot. Feeling a nice stretch into both the hamstring and into the back. We're gonna switch sides and do the same thing. So next we're going to go into another adductor stretch, going into a deep side lunge here, or Spider-Mans, whatever you want to call them. You should feel it in the straight leg. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pause there for a second and you're going to rotate that leg outward so that the toes face the ceiling. Tap it with your hand, return that foot back down and switch sides. Okay, stopping in the center here, just doing a forward fold. And what you'll notice here is I'm doing 3 little taps with my hands, a little bit forward in the center and reaching all the way back. Now it's completely optional to do. You can also stay static here and just let that head hang. So next you're gonna take your arms, you're gonna walk over to one leg and then walk over to the other leg. Okay, bring those legs back together. And what you're gonna do is straighten out one knee and then bend the other knee. So keep hanging out here. I'm just gonna let you know what's coming up next. You are gonna need that step or stool. I'm gonna use a cooler box. And you're gonna step onto it. You're going to lunge down, feeling a nice stretch. Now you can stay where you're at, or you can allow that knee to drift away from the body. Whatever feels like it's benefiting your body, just do whatever feels right here. And if you prefer, you can go into kind of a pigeon pose here, where you cross that leg right across, feeling it more into the glute versus the hip flexor. All right, switching sides here. So you've got 3 different options here. You can keep that knee in neutral. You can let that knee flop out to the side, or you can go into pigeon's pose. Or you can hold each one for 10 to 15 seconds and switch through all 3. This is your own mobility practice, so just listen to your body and figure out what feels best, which may change every single day. we're gonna put that stool to the side. We're gonna cross one leg over the other. The back leg you wanna push out on a 45. And this is gonna stretch out that TFL, your tensor fasciae latae. A lot of people call this the IT band stretch, but it's actually really hard to stretch that type of tissue. You're more targeting the muscles that actually insert into that band. Make sure to switch sides here. And again, going back to that starting leg. And switching one more time here. So next we're going to go into a lunge position here. We're going to reach up to the ceiling and then we're going to reach away from that back leg. And just alternating sides here. So for this next stretch, if you find that you're having a hard time getting your butt towards your heels, you can put some pillows just to prop yourself up. And what we're doing here is leaning back. Now you should feel a stretch into the knee, but if the knee is giving you any warning signs not to do this, please do not continue on with this stretch. You can always lie on your side and grab onto your shoelaces to feel that stretch into the quad. So next we're going to go into that downward dog and we're going to cycle out the legs, feeling a nice stretch into those calves. Maybe a little bit into the hamstrings as well. And then we're going to go back into that quad stretch again. Again, going at your limit. Never pushing past that. And then back up into that downward dog again. Cycling out the legs. So next up, you're going to need that bar. And you're going to pick up the leg to transfer your body over top of that bar, and then you're going to sink down low to go underneath it. You're going to want to do 5 to 6 in one way, and then we're going to change directions. And again, you can just use a hockey stick over top of 2 chairs, that would work. And it is possible to do this motion as well without a bar if you don't have that handy. All right, we're switching directions here. So next we're just going to stay low and we're just going from one side to the other side. And this is where we're going to wrap it up for week 3, day 1. Thank you so much for following along. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a like, hit the subscribe button and share it with someone who could benefit from these videos, that'd be fantastic. Have an excellent day, guys, and I'll see you for day 10.